You see, many nights I would have had to listen to people calling about unpaid salaries. Many nights and many days, Petal and I welcome people in our office crying because they had just lost their jobs. The THA would have just fired them. They have no means to pay their rent, no money to buy food for their children. And we had to hold them in our arms. And while they cried, we cried with them. While they felt pain, we felt that pain with them. And we hear you, young people. We hear the cries for jobs. Many of you feel hopeless. Many of you feel abandoned. Many of you feel unfulfilled because this administration, they have spent $13 billion. And 4 years later, many of us in Tobago are suffering. And that is the reality at this time. So I understand that some of you need a voice because you felt ignored, you felt forgotten. And in those moments, I understood clearly that representation is not a title, it is a responsibility. A responsibility to be a voice for the voiceless, a strong tower for the weak, a defender of the vulnerable, and a constant presence when the system fails. So tonight, I want to thank Almighty God for keeping me through these last 4 years. I want to thank my family from Backhill, from Out the Road, from Glen Road, from Sanchez Hill, and all throughout Tobago. I want to thank my friends who stood with me, who seen me at my weakest and my lowest points. I want to thank my wife and my children, who many times we had to give up family time so that I could attend to an issue of urgency. And most of all, I want to thank you, the people of this electoral district, for trusting me, for praying for me, for believing in me, for walking with me, for having even the patience, because you know I am not in office and some of the things you want delivered, we can't get it because they're wicked and they're vindictive and they're bad-minded and they want to see when people suffer. But suffer we shall not no longer, because we are going into government, not one alone, but all 15 candidates of the PNM. And when we form the next government, Whim will be transformed. Darrell Spring will be transformed. Jobs, agriculture, tourism, opportunities for all, opportunities after opportunities after opportunities. We will deliver because the PNM has a track record of delivering for this community. Because I stand on the representation of one Claudia Groom-Duke, and you will recall the kind of work that Mrs. Duke did for this community. One time Whim was one way in and one way out. Under the PNM, under the representation of Miss Claudia Groom-Duke, followed by Kelvin Charles, we opened up Philadelphia, and now you have Philadelphia. You can go through Philadelphia and connect onto Marys Hill. We open up Top Hill into School Hill into Center Street. Now you can leave and go through Center Street. We opened up Back Hill so that now you can enter the Dunvegan Road, Plymouth Road from Back Hill. You would hear the word Idlewild Trace because that's what it was. It was a track. But we developed a first-class road in Idlewild. Now you can pass through Idlewild. That was done by the People's National Movement. And when it comes to infrastructural and sporting facilities, it was this PNM that upgraded the Flats recreational facility and ensured that it was lit. And I think I see former Secretary of Sports and Youth Affairs, our former political leader, let me recognize her, Mrs. Tracy Davidson Celestine here. And under her leadership, we developed playing fields in Brandon and Idlewild. Under her leadership, we upgraded the Swamp Community Center. So Whim, we have seen development, and Sanchez Hill, you would have seen it in the Jubilee Park. And under Kelvin Charles, we also put at Brandon the changing facility. This is how we deliver in the PNM. And I just want to share with you quickly, because without office, I did not shirk, I did not bend, I did not make excuse. I ensure that we continue to deliver, and deliver we did. Because under my representation, we were able to ensure that we provided support for over 500 families. And we provided hampers not only for Christmas, because we know families don't only eat at Christmas time. They have to eat all the time. And based on the wickedness, the vindictiveness, and the sufferation that this TPP has brought onto people, many families needed urgent help. Sometimes when you go for the food card, because we would have signed up many people for food card, and it's months upon months you have to wait for something as a $500 food card. Under the PNM, you will recall you will get that food card almost immediately. And we did it without asking much question. Now they want to know who you're with, when you're with them, and every personal kind of business just to give you $500. All those days will be done under the PNM. If you need help, you will get the help. We at one of the things I know in this community and in my electoral district, we have ambitious people who want to ensure that they could put on a little downstairs or change their roof. But the $25,000 right now cannot do all the things that you need to upgrade your house. So this PNM is proposing that we move the home improvement grant from $25,000 to $100,000. Because we understand that Tobagonians need the assistance to improve their living circumstances. And this is what the PNM has always been about. Because more than roads, more than buildings, PNM is about developing people. And you will see right here as I stand on the gap of my family. This is family property right here. And I know my grandmother is watching down with pride tonight as we are keeping a red meeting, and a woman who followed the red from since Eric Williams' days to now. And therefore she is looking down, I'm sure, with pride. And you will understand here in Whim, we need to also, more than simply moving with the home improvement, we are proposing, and my vision for Whim, because we are a sporting haven in Whim, whether it's cricket, whether it's football, whether it's netball, whether it's basketball, you can find a star right here in this electoral district. And that is why one of the foundation of my vision is to ensure that we have the sporting facilities that will ensure our sporting icons, our young fellas like Joshua and Orlando, and we want more Keon Bouchers to be able to come to the fore, and the Vincent family in netball, and our young Miss Rivers there in Backhill with netball. We want to be able to transform that facility at Backhill. And perhaps it's not by accident this incompetent administration was not able to fully commission that facility. Because you hear them looking to run to name facility. Who built that facility? Imagine they don't have a clue how that facility came, but they're running to put name. That facility is bigger than any one person here in Whim. That facility was born by the vision of one Claudia Groom Duke, who saw a need and saw the wealth of talent in Whim and said, Whim, you deserve something good too. And with that vision, she went on, and the vision was initially to create a skill center so that the young people can be able to learn a skill and a trade. But when we cleared down that area and they're putting the building to the front, all the young people already engaged using that. Let me put something sporting to the front and put the building to the back. And that is how that became. But more than that, recognizing even before office that there were some social challenges in the area, myself along with Prenge, along with Boo, and along with Buji, decided that we will create a small goal tournament called the Saved Night Football Tournament. And that acronym meant Sport Against Violence and Drug Abuse. And therefore, when we created that tournament, it attracted people from across Tobago. It creates even commerce because Dawn and they were able to come out and sell their pies. And people came out with soccer bag, who came out with juice. And that is what that facility meant to the people of Whim. And because that facility meant so much to the people of Whim, I am saying here tonight that we want to transform that facility to an international grade facility where we can have international small goal, international netball, and even cricket there. And we are going to propose, along with the village council, that that sporting part of the facility be named after deceased Ryan Cyrus, who collaboratively came up with the vision to have that sporting tournament right at that facility. So we'll name the first part of it after Ryan Cyrus. But more than that, we have produced two of the best cricketers in the entire country of Trinidad and Tobago in Joshua and Orlando James. And one of the things they have asked for through Brian Brown is for us to consider at the bottom installing international grade indoor nets so that if it rains, they can continue to train. And I am giving you the commitment here with your co-area representative who perhaps will be our next, and until I'm not taking front, but might just be our next Secretary of Sports. And we will ensure that we have at the bottom of there that indoor nets that will be named in honor of Joshua and Orlando James. And because the original intent was for skills training and upskilling the people of women environs, that main area will continue to facilitate skills development, a conference center, and of course we will consider, as I always would have promoted, naming that after one Miss Melva Jo Field. But the overall concept is to have that facility as the Claudia Groom Duke Home of Excellence in honor of one of the best area representatives to pass through the history of the THA and this district, Miss Claudia Groom Duke. So this is what it's about. Glen Road, we understand you need facilities as well. And we are working assiduously to ensure that you get your recreational facility at least a hard court. In Brandon, we want to upgrade the Brandon field. We want to ensure that we light that field. So no longer you have to be restricted to playing in the day alone. You can also play at night. We are about transforming the entire landscape. I also have a vision of putting a family and youth recreational park in Whim so that you here in Whim can come with your family, you can come and swim, you can come and have your exercise, because family and community is one of the most important aspects of getting people away from socially deviant behaviors. Because as a student of sociology and psychology and international relations, I have always said one of the greatest ways to treat with crime is at the very core, is at the family and the community level. And therefore my vision is ensuring that we build strong, healthy, safe communities throughout this electoral district of Darrell Spring Whim. And brothers and sisters, so I have served. You have seen me, walked with you. I never left the ground, because one of the things I said when we return, I do not want anyone to tell me truthfully that I have not seen you since the last 4 years. I know that is the record of the other side, but I can stand proudly here tonight and say to you, I have walked every corner of this district consistently over the last 4 years. And therefore, I want to thank also my hard-working team. And I'm seeing Lois, I'm seeing Nikisha, I'm seeing I seen Rhonda, I seen Gatlin, I seen I seen Miss Linda, I seen Monique, Tiffany, I seen, and then I'm in local team here, Mint and the crew, and Jelly, and Jahan, and Andreas. But I want to thank each and every one of you because I have not done it alone. And we have put in a structure of ensuring that when you come to our office, that you get service. Because we believe that service is about people, and we do not see color. We do not see party. All we see is someone coming with an issue that needs to be dealt with. And that is how we have served over the past 4 years. We have served by recognizing that everyone matters, no matter who you are. You could be rich, you could be poor, you could be in between. We are about serving the people of this electoral district and serving the people of Tobago. So, brothers and sisters, as I close, I want to share with you, and I want to remind Tobagonians, that this election is a serious election. And while I'm happy that the entire village would have come out with me, we need more than this village for one Kelvin Morris to win. And we need more than this village for the PNM to win. And therefore I'm calling all of Tobago, like Leroy George did, to stand up and answer the call and stand in defense of Tobago. Because as we speak, literally, Tobago is being sold out by the TPP to UNC and UNC financing. And if you don't believe me, just today I got a video image that tells me Farley and the TPP has sold out Tobago, and here is the image as evidence. The TPP has sold Tobago, and it requires each and every one of us. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor that we need to stand as we stood in 2013 in defense of Tobago. So, ladies and gentlemen, what you are seeing here, these are Namalco trucks loaded on its way and perhaps would have offloaded by now, coming to Tobago to do work, while our Tobago contractors who employ Tobagonians is sold for them. And this is the same company that Farley Chavez Augustine came right here in Whim and told us he don't know. He have absolutely no dealings. But here it is. That's why I tell all you, Farley Chavez Augustine is a stranger to the truth. Farley Chavez Augustine has been diagnosed with an incurable disease called diabetes. And brothers and sisters of Whim, of Tobago, The only way to cure liabilities is to vote Farley Chavez Augustine out.
You respect that?
Because putting Tobago first again means ensuring that every cent as far as possible that comes to Tobago circulates right here in Tobago. And what Farley has done over the last 4 years is a betrayal to the people of Tobago. Taking your money, the little bit of money that come in here, and in the same breath, in one hand as it comes, Farley Chavez Augustine, along with Trevor James and others, have found a way to siphon and spirit away that same money into the hands of Trinidad contractors by the millions. It has gotten so bad it has gotten, that imagine to build an early childhood center for $7 million. Farley Chavez Augustine, Zorisha Hackett, they couldn't find no Tobago contractor, not from Whim, not from Plymouth, not from Bethesda, not from Tobago, but they found a contractor from Christ Central Trinidad to build something as small as an early childhood center. And then they come in and tell all you that Tobago is we. Tobago could never be we under the TPP. Tobago is them and the UNC, and it's time for us to tell Farley Chavez Augustine, Ricky Jofield and the TPP right out.
You respect that?
PNM.
Because I hear some people talking about friends and friendship. But all I will tell them, with friends like these, who needs enemies? With friends like these, who needs enemies? Because you see, this election is about serious business. And some people are in this election for self. Some people would have gotten a lot. But when the allot run dry, they are now looking for new rivers and new streams. But we here in Whim, we are about service. We are about ensuring, you see them young boys who others have to hear, saying, Kelvon, I need a little thing, I need a little end, a little work. We are about creating real jobs for real people who have real needs. We are about ensuring that we put young people to work, put our young boys, take them off the block. We don't warrior on the block, we warrior doing productive things, helping us to build Tobago, to build that cruise ship port, to build all those new developments, those hotels that are to come. We are about transforming Tobago under Ansel Dennis. Ansel has a vision, a big, bold plan. And if you go through there, 7,000 jobs. And I can assure you with those 7,000 jobs, there is a job for each and every one of you. So, Whim, we're looking good tonight. We're sounding good tonight. But elections are won on election. Don't want nobody to go away with the impression that we win a converted. But with national movement to spread the gospel that we are about putting Tobago first. Spread it up in the east. Spread it down in the west. Spread it in Buku. Because we want to ensure that Ansel deliver licks on that traitor, because Judases deserve licks. Plenty licks. One thing in Tobago we don't stand is Judas and traitors. And we must ensure that we put a good PNM licking on that traitor down in Buku that wanted to come and tell lies. Imagine that young man left the PNM where we created CPEP and gone over to the blue and tell him big fat lies 2 weeks in, and liabilities don't have him already. The man has spent 2 weeks properly and he started to lie. Imagine he's saying that the PNM never raised CPEP. The PNM raised CPEP twice. In 2007, they got 15% increase. And in 2019, again under Kelvin Charles, another 15% increase with back pay. What about the URP workers? Many URP workers are telling me up to this day, they have not been paid their back pay. While Farley and them flying here, there, and everywhere. $25 million wasted. Ask them where is the results of all them flying. Not one airline, not one new hotel, nothing, nothing, nothing. And them coming back and asking us for 4 years. 4 years to do what? Tobagonians, all they really realize. Ask them what they have done over the last 4 years with your $13 billion. Where are the results? Look at our roads. Look at our infrastructure. What have they built to move Tobago forward? What have they delivered? And these are the questions. We have a Secretary of Infrastructure driving through Scarborough, Mount Grace, and I have labeled him Pothole Trevor because it's pothole after pothole after pothole.
You dig?
You see, they call me a nuisance. But if I'm a nuisance to standing up for Tobago, then I stand guilty as charged. Because I will not sell out Tobago for no financing like they have done. We will stand for Tobago. Imagine the Chief Secretary has accepted without any kind of protest a radar. Right now as we speak, the conflict between Venezuela and America is escalating. And any day now, you can hear in this place because of that radar, you can hear boom. And the next thing is, all are we could be dead. That is what Farley and Kamla and Sertica, who admitted that it was a gift, has delivered to the people of Tobago. Imagine you put a radar here without even EMA consideration. If you want to put up even a little penthouse, a dolly house, you have to get EMA clearance. But they brought to us, consulted no one, asked no one, what is happening? Do you want this? Didn't consider us. And we must accept that and give them 4 years again. 4 years to do what? Tell Farley and friends and the Jellyfish crew it is time for them to ride out.
You respect that?
So I stand on the backs of another Whim man, Orville Delano London, who in 2013 called and rallied the people of Tobago to stand in defense of Tobago, because as we speak, our lands also are going all over. Some land, no man's, all over. Our lands are going, and we must stand up for our lands here in Tobago. Stand tall, Tobagonians. Come out, Tobagonians. It's time for us to rise up. It's time for us to get up. Stop being shy. This is our time. The time is now. Put Tobago first. Put Tobago first in this district. Put Tobago first in Buku. Put Tobago first up in Speyside. And make sure we get rid and cure that liabilities that is up in Speyside. And when we do this, brothers and sisters, in love and unity and progress, we'll all sing and shout. Great is our God. Great is Tobago. Great is this beautiful village that raised me, called Whim, and all its people. And we shall prevail.
You
Love
dig?
ya, love ya, love ya, love ya, love ya, love ya.
PNM.
Where my flag bearers? I want to lay the front. Every flag. Every flag. I want in the front. Get them.
Election time is here. We'll be sweeping everywhere.
Get me.
Election time is here.
I want every flag in front here.
Sweeping time. I was in the Lacoray when somebody showed me him. Somebody said that I'm not today. The boss could take care of them. And in this crowd was singing loud, going to the convention. When we walk in, big spin and ting. Oh Lord, what a session. In the hand was a plan and he started to jam. He hit them bam, bam, bam,
bam, bam.
Somebody say you got to like the man. He had a top shot, Eric William. You got to vote PNM. If you got your money, you got to vote PNM. If you got your money,
all PNM. All PNM. All PNM, put up your hand.
If you vote in PNM, put up your hand. All PNM, put up your hand. All PNM, put up your hand. Shake the balize.
Whim people.
Shake the balize. Shake the balize. Vote the balize.
PNM.
Ring, ting, ting. Election ring. We voting for
PNM is the best thing.
Ring, ting, ting. Election
bell
ring. We voting for PNM, it's the best thing. We're not going back to no duck. We reach too far to turn back. We're not voting for
no TPP.
They came out of
the UNC. Get them DJ. PNM. Pull it up, DJ. Pull up, 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 DJ.
I'm good, I'm alive.
Come
in. Guessing no more, I sure. Calvin Morris, just say I know. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I know I'm voting for. I know who I'm voting.
PNM people, PNM family, Tobago. Listen, when I say her name, say nothing. Farley, nothing. Ricky, nothing. Faith, nothing. And you see that bride that Chucky up in Lescoto who trying to attack a kill? Nothing. Only two disrespectful. Move from here. Move from here. We not taking no prisoners. We not playing for slips. Tonight we're going to bring the final speaker to the podium. And I want the DJ to cue that song for me very soft. DJ, I want it soft. I want it soft, DJ. Because every team have a leader. Every team has a leader. The team, the TPP leader, infect everybody with liabilities. He infect everybody with poor performance. He infect everybody with stealing. But we have a leader. We have a leader. We have a leader. We have a leader. Integrity. Intelligence, vision, strength. He could talk, he could dance, he could play cricket, he could lie. Ansel,
Fight so whitey people still a try.
Who the people calling for?
Inna the talk, him a go fix every road fi walk.
Ansel.
From Godla all,
Bring
back to Mason all. Ask me about it.
Ansel. Ansel.
PNM come to catch kicks a 4 years and get dark and
Ansel.
waste it. So me just a sing back to basics. So PNM today.
You didn't respect
Ansel
that.
never play a game, no.
We don't play.
Him ready up enough. Fight so whitey people still a try. Fight. PNM, vote PNM. PNM, vote for PNM.
Ansel. 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 Ansel.
PNM. 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 Vote for PNM.
Ansel. Ansel. Ansel.
PNM.
Bop, 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 bop.
Ansel.
PNM family.
Kwesi.
Bum, bum, bum. Ansel. Ansel.
Election time.
Ansel.
Big time.
March
There
out.
we go. There we
Every
go.
people that want to.
All the people. All the money.
March out, Ansel.
March out, Ansel, march out. You the people them want them not go take no talk when other party talk. Them song they start. Let me say them song they start. So vote PNM today. Ansel not go play games no time. Him ready up enough. Fight so whitey people still a try. Fight. Ansel not inna the talk. Him a go fix every road fi walk. From
Whim
Godla
people,
all, right
make
back to
some
Mason
noise.
all. Ask me about it. Him nasty. No feel PNM come fake.
Darrell Spring Whim, how you feeling? You're looking good and you're sounding good. And I want to say to you this evening, who ain't afraid, afraid now. Because come election day, who ain't dead, go be badly wounded. I want to firstly recognize your current assemblyman, and come election day, the man who will continue to be your assemblyman for Darrell Spring Whim, Assemblyman Kelvon Morris. Of course, other distinguished candidates who graced the platform this evening. Shout out to the Plymouth Blackrock candidate, Miss Karen Forbes. I saw earlier the candidate for Mason or Mariah, Mr. Kwesi Devines. Distinguished PNM people, and I especially want to recognize tonight a man who said great is the PNM for the first time in his life, Brother Leroy George.
PNM.
I also want to shout out some very special people in our midst, some former members of the THA, back when we had a proper THA. Our former political leader is here, Mrs. Tracy Davidson Celestine. Former secretaries, Agatha Carrington, Marcelin Melville Jack, Nadine Stewart Phillips, Huey Cadet, and I am sure there are others. It's a pleasure to be here in Whim this evening to firstly give support to an outstanding young man who has stood the test of times, representing you, the people of Darrell Spring Whim, with distinction. And of course, he was the lone PNM voice in the assembly, the only speck of decency, along with the minority councillor, Mrs. Petal Daniel Benoit. And I want to say to the people of Tobago that going forward, as you discovered over the last 4 years, one PNM is not enough. And therefore, to run this island properly come January the 12th,
You need 15 PNM in the THA in order for things to go well in Tobago. And therefore, as I stand here this evening, I can feel the temperature rising. I can feel the energy rising. And I can see that the great Red Sea of the PNM is riding in its tide, getting ready to consume the blue wave that has threatened the people of Tobago over the last 4 years. People of Tobago, people of this community, you have experienced 4 years of leadership under a particular chief secretary who went from PDP to independent, and today he is TPP. They may say to you about being underfunded and mistreated by any PNM government. The facts and the documentation will show that they received to spend on your behalf $13 billion. And of course, I want to put that in context, because $13 billion is $4 billion more than $9 billion, which is what the previous PNM THA administration received during that period. And I want to ask you to cast your minds back to the period 2017 to 2021, where you had, of course, Kelvin Charles as the chief secretary. And then I had the distinct privilege of serving you, the people of Tobago, as your chief secretary in the last part of that term. And I'm saying, if you go back to that period, you can remember that during that period, the $9 billion was spent in a way that benefited you, the people of Tobago. Because during that period, you got a new hospital in Roxborough, you got new bridges, you had better roads, you had a situation where every single contract, every single project done in this Tobago space was being done by contractors from Tobago who employed Tobagonians right here in Tobago, and therefore your economy in Tobago was thriving under the PNM. And therefore we can come here night after night and defend our track record from 2001 right back to 2021. And therefore the question you must put to this current THA, the Tobago People's Partnership, is what did they do with $13 billion? Because as I look around Tobago, I can hardly identify anything to tell you, the people of Tobago, where your $13 billion went. And I'm saying to you that you will not be able to find it if you look for it. Because in order to find it, you will have to look deep into the bank accounts of people doing business in Tobago who belong to places such as Chaguanas and Oropouche and Claxton Bay and other areas of South Trinidad. That is where the bulk of your money went over the last 4 years. And I'm saying to you, the people of Tobago and the people of Darrell Spring Whim, are you satisfied with the last 4 years? Because suddenly they're coming to tell you, give them another term. And one of the excuses they will make is that they need more time to create the so-called mess that the PNM created. And I'm saying to you, the people of Tobago, the only time mess was created in Tobago is over the last 4 years. And let me tell you about the mess. Because, of course, one of the first things they did in this Tobago space was to ensure that they executed vengeance and retribution against you, the people of Tobago. And I see the Deputy Chief Secretary is out on Facebook talking stupidness as usual, saying to the people of Tobago that you don't have to be neutral. You could support who you want with your chest. And I want to remind you, the people of Tobago, that it was that same Secretary of Health who, when a member of this PNM executive by the name of Pete Gray, his contract came up for renewal, highly recommended by the administrator for continued employment. You know what Faith wrote in the file? Faith wrote big and bold in the file that his contract ought not to be renewed simply because he was a member of the PNM executive. And therefore she coming to tell you now, in a situation where you, the people of Tobago, you have lived for 4 years with victimization, where when any PNM person show up their face in a PNM meeting and they are seen on television by the administrator or somebody else, by the time they get to work the next day, is the administrator calling them in to tell them that they need to be careful. And while in the past they used to accuse the PNM of victimization, I am saying without fear of contradiction that the people of Tobago have experienced victimization of the worst kind over the last 4 years. In fact, CPEP, 41 workers under the CPEP program were removed from their jobs under the guise of restructuring. When that was not enough, they went to the community partnership unit, fired some more workers there. When that was not enough, they went down to TADCO and they placed 67 employees on the breadline down at TADCO under the guise of restructuring. And I want to say to you as well, in case you haven't noticed, all those individuals took them to court, and on every occasion they lost every single case in the court, and the court instructed them to pay up. But first the wicked, you know what they did to the people in the community partnership unit? Although the industrial court said to the THA, said to the chief secretary, that you're wrong and you dismiss the people wrongfully and you have to pay. After the deadline for the appeal was passed, this chief secretary continues to withhold payment from those poor community partnership workers. And you know what he's been saying to his friends? Gavin Walters does talk too much on Facebook, and therefore they're not paying any of you. But I want to say to the people in that community partnership unit and every other former THA employee awaiting justice and awaiting payment as instructed by the court, that when you elect the next PNM THA into office, we will pay you every cent of your money with damages and interest too. So I'm saying to you, the people of Tobago, that this election is really about whether you have been satisfied with the performance of Farley and his friends over the last 4 years. And as I look around, I see a number of young people. I see farmers. I see people working in the tourism sector. And I want to talk a bit to the farmers, because many of them, as talented as they are and as committed as they are, they have seen nothing but victimization and frustration at the hands of this current THA administration over the last 4 years. And I saw now where they put out some release planning to open some agro park on December the 30th, which I believe is tomorrow. Once again, Mama Guy, because they ignored the farmers for 4 years. No access roads, no land for farming, no agricultural incentives, not even a visit to any farm from this Secretary of Agriculture. But all of a sudden, a few days before election, they're coming to talk about the opening agro park. And I'm saying to the people of Tobago, those farmers, take whatever they're giving you through this agro park, but make sure when you go out on election day, you park that X next to the Balize. And I want to talk to you, young people, because I see many of you running up and down the place doing these 10 on, 10 off jobs. And I simply want to say to you that while I understand that something is better than nothing, and a 10 days work is better than no work at all, I want to say to every single young person within the sound of my voice that you deserve more than a 10 days. And it is our commitment when you elect the next PNMTHA that we will move all of you out of 10 days into permanent employment in your Tobago House of Assembly under the PNM. Because you see, there are almost 800 daily paid vacancies currently in the Tobago House of Assembly. But instead of filling those vacancies, they want to give you a 10 days here and a 10 days there. So that in order for you to maintain your employment, you have to continue to demonstrate political loyalty. I am even hearing about persons required to wear blue jerseys to meetings in order to get in on the next 10 days that will become available sometime early in January. And I'm saying to the young people, wear the blue jersey if you have to in order to get a 10 days. But if you want to move from that to a brighter and prosperous future with permanent jobs under the next PNMTHA, wear the blue jersey and go and vote for the People's National Movement. I want to say to you as well, do not be fooled by slogans. Because of course, our slogan is simply, put Tobago first again. And of course, the theme of these meetings is Dance a Yard. And this evening I see plenty dancing in this yard, and I was tremendously proud. But Dance a Yard is really speaking to the fact that charity begins at home and ends abroad. And in order for you to dance a yard, you have to dance here first before you dance abroad. So in other words, what we are saying is that before you ship out any contracts to South Trinidad, you have to make sure that your contractors here in Tobago have worked full the throat. And before you go to any company called Novo to bring up food from Trinidad, to do your market distributions here in Tobago, you have to ensure that you take all the food that is produced right here in Tobago first. And that is what we mean by dance a yard before you dance abroad. So, they're coming with slogans. And I want you to pay attention to the slogans. Because 4 years ago, they came to tell you, let me fix this. And of course, you take your fast self as Tobagonians and attempted to fix what did not necessarily need fixing, because all it needed was improving. And the fact that you took your fast self and voted to fix it, obviously after 4 years, is no self it need fixing, because they mash up the THA, they mash up the construction sector, they mash up the tourism sector, they mash up the Tobago economy. They mash up young people. They mash up the health sector till we spend $18 million to buy ambulances that cannot even go up a hill. And after they mash it up, they come in to tell you now, Tobago is we. While they're telling you Tobago is we, all you have gotten for the last 4 years is we. And they're trying to tell you is rain.
You dig, you dig, you dig.
4 years of we. And they're coming to tell you Tobago is we. But I want to tell you that while they're telling you Tobago is we, they're quietly selling off Tobago to them, the people down in South Trinidad. Because ask the person next to you who owned the quarry in Tobago. Ask them that. Ask them who owning all the lands in Friendship Estate. Ask them who owning now. I hear they're looking to go away with no man's land. Who own no man's land? But they're coming to tell you Tobago is we. But next time they come by your gap and they tell you Tobago is we, tell them all the nonsense, all the victimization, all the corruption that they carried on for the last 4 years, that is now we. And when you tell them that, tell them you're not satisfied with the last 4 years and you want them to ride out.
You respect that?
Pay them.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the reality is that when they come to tell you Tobago is we, they really mean that Tobago is them. A select few of them in partnership with their friends from Trinidad, hell-bent on ripping off you, the people of Tobago. And I have to tell you how you got ripped off. Because the same man who is vying to represent this area, the same man who is challenging Kelvon Morris, is also a Tobago contractor. And under the PNM, that man got almost $10 million in work under the People's National Movement as a Tobago contractor. So I find it rather strange that a man who benefited from a Tobago First arrangement is quite prepared to run behind people who are hell-bent on putting Tobago last. Tobago first. But I want to say to him that after Kelvon Morris cut his tail and after the PNM returns to the Tobago House of Assembly, we will continue to advance our Tobago First agenda, and he might even get more work because we don't victimize nobody. Our position is that Tobago belongs to every single Tobagonian. All 60,000 of you, whether you wear blue, black, red, yellow, or you're dressing bareback, Tobago belongs to all of us. And therefore, under the PNM, there will be no PNM contractor, there will be no TPP contractor, there will be no PDP contractor. All you will have are Tobago contractors.
You dig.
So I want to say to Ricky, fear not. After Kelvon cut your tail, you could continue your business as usual under the PNM. And finally, I want to tell you a little bit about our bold new vision to transform Tobago. Because you see, you, the people of this country, like to make elections about voting out. And you see, there is a lot to vote out this current administration for. In fact, just by the actions of this chief secretary alone, they deserve to be voted out. Because I can tell you, in serious democracies, they do tolerate their leaders lying to them. And Kelvon will tell you that he's suffering from liabilities. But I want to call him from this evening the lying king. The king of lies. Because you see this thing about the radar? Take it from me this evening. Your chief secretary was fully aware and fully up to speed with the plans to plant that radar right there in Crown Point. But of course, when he realized trouble there, he trying to take out himself to come to tell you that he didn't know, and have John Jeremy and Wayne Sturge come into Tobago to sit down in press conference to try to hoodwink us to believe that the chief secretary didn't know. The facts are that the records in the airport will show that sometime before that radar was there, he attended a meeting with officials of the airport authority, and therefore he was fully apprised of what was going to happen there. But of course, he just cannot speak the truth. And Tobagonians, we are known to be a people of decency. We are known to be a people of sound morals and values. And therefore, I am saying to you, the people of Tobago, that are you prepared to continue to tolerate a chronic liar who cannot help himself as your chief secretary? And the answer has to be no. So I'm saying to you that as your chief secretary, Not only will I not lie to you, but I have a proper plan and vision for your advancement and development. And contrast that to the last 4 years. Did you hear anything for the last 4 years about a development plan? Did you hear anything about a comprehensive economic development plan? Did you hear anything about a roadmap or a blueprint? In fact, the only thing blue they were concerned about is the blue notes. And I'm saying to you, the people of Tobago, that under the PNM there is a vision and there is a plan as we unveiled to you about a week ago. And I know the majority of you are concerned with employment because many of you are unemployed and you want to know where the next job coming from because you're not satisfied with any 10 days and they destroy the private sector, so you can't even call up any of the Tobago contractors to ask them for a work. And I'm saying to you that under the PNM, we are going to create 7,000 plus jobs for you, the people of Tobago. And I want to say to the people who may be looking forward to employment in the THA, that while the majority of jobs will not come from the THA, because we are hell-bent on developing a sustainable private sector on this island, and therefore 6,000 of the 7,000 jobs will come from the private sector, there will be opportunities in the THA as well. And I'm saying to you, the fact that when you journey across Tobago, the roads are not properly maintained, the drains full of moss, the drains clogged, it is because the maintenance teams in the Division of Infrastructure are significantly depleted. And I'm saying under the PNM, under the next PNM THA, we are going to fill every single vacancy in those teams. And therefore, it will mean that in every community, we will have the opportunity to employ approximately 25 persons or more on those teams. But of course, everybody can't get a morning walk, and everybody can't get a THA walk. In the tourism sector, in the agriculture sector, in the clean renewable energy sector, and in other sectors across Tobago, based on our plans, based on our willingness to go out there and find investors to invest on this island so that we could build a more sound tourism sector, we are going to create those jobs. And of course, let me talk about traveling. Because if it's one thing this current administration did well, if it's one thing they know to do, is to go in the accounts units, bully them for purchase orders, and bully them for plane tickets, and bully them for per diem checks, so that they could fly away on a jet plane. And I wish they didn't know when they will be back again. So they fly left, right, and center. They went to China. They went to Miami to taste wine. They went to Jamaica to see how to build house. They went to Grenada to talk about the promoting carnival. They went to the United Kingdom. In fact, the chief secretary, on his return from a trip to New York, told Kelvon when he asked the question, well, what you bring back? He told Kelvon, we have 12 investors lined up to invest in Tobago within the next 3 months. When Kelvon asked him, well, name the investors, he pulled out this whole idea of non-disclosure agreement. Another lie. Because the only time you will have non-disclosure agreements is if it is part of a broader agreement. And of course, he traveled, came back with absolutely nothing, but was prepared to lie to you, the people of Tobago, about having 12 investors lined up to invest in Tobago. I am giving you, the people of Tobago, the commitment that your next PNM administration, whenever we travel, and it will not cost $25 million, but whenever we travel, it will be to have serious discussions with potential investors across the globe to bring back marinas, to bring back hotels, to bring that sky cable car that we're talking about as part of our bold new vision, to build tourism sites and attractions, to ensure that we have the resources to invest in the future development of Tobago. Because the THA allocation on the development side will not exceed approximately $500 million per year, which is $2 billion over 4 years. And of course, that is not enough money to develop the kind of Tobago that we want to develop. And therefore, a significant part of our improvement as an island is based on our ability to attract investment into our island, into our tourism sector, and across other sectors. So as I close, I want to say to the people of Darrell Spring, Whim, that you have the best possible man to represent you in the next Tobago House of Assembly of 2026 to 2030. And therefore, from now until election day, because crowd don't win election, elections are won on election day. And you could win seats by 3 votes, and you could lose seats by 2 votes. And I'm saying to you, the people of this district, and to you, the people of Tobago, do not take anything for granted. Tobago is under threat. Trinidad and Tobago is under siege. And we have a situation now where the Prime Minister could do whatever she wants to you, the people of Tobago, and the Chief Secretary will not speak or say a word for thy kingdom come. When I was small, my mother used to mind fowls, white fowls. And she had this way where she used to pull out something from the tongue and put ashes there. They call that pip. And I'm saying election day we will have the ashes ready for Farley Tongue, because we will relieve him. We must relieve him of his ability to lie to you, the people of Tobago. We must relieve them of their ability to continue to victimize you, the people of Tobago. We must relieve them of the ability to sell us out, and we must say to them on election day to take their radar and go, and take their sellout agenda and go, and take their blue clothes and go. And only when we do that can we truly say that great is the island of Tobago, great are the people of Tobago, great is our God, great is the PNM, and we shall prevail.
You did.
From this election time, big time. March out. March out and say march out. You the people them want them not go take no talk when other party talk. Them song they start. When me say them song they start. So vote PNM today. Hansil not go play games no time. You ready up enough fight. So white TPP still a try fight. Hansil not in the talk. Him a go fix every road fi walk. From Cudla Hall right back to Mason Hall. Ask Macy about it. Him nasty. No feel PNM come fi catch kicks. A 4 years them get dark and them waste it. So me just a sing back to basics. Vote PNM today. Hansil not go play a game no time. Him ready up enough fight. So white TPP still a try fight.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Don't destroy the assembly. When them a bring to the table. If I
Nothing they bring.
every day I go wrong, I tell fable.
Then bring nothing to the table.
When them a bring to the table. A fire started in a stable. Nothing a worse is to take over. Tobago anchored in a cycle game over.
December 6 people live vote with a vengeance, but they never know them a send a death sentence. Put in the team, what I'm saying, they will fix this and every target them a miss. Now we like get hard cause them a break the economy. Driving a car that don't work out. Now is the time for stand up for all of it and take back the assembly where them a bring to the table. If I talk alone, we not able.
Whim people! Whim people! PNM people!
A fire started in the stable.
Tobago!
Take over. Tobago anchored in a cycle.
Pull it up, DJ! Pull it up, DJ! Pull it up, pull it up! Pull it down a little bit for me, the DJ. Pull it down, pull it down, pull it down, pull it down. The red wave is rising. And we on fire. We purging everything in our path to restore Tobago back to its former glory and beyond. Because we are ready to put Tobago first again. Before we continue this evening, I want to remind us, tomorrow night our meeting is at the corner of Bagatelle number 1 and Calder Hall Road. Where? Bagatelle number 1 and Calder Hall Road. Make your way to the venue. The fire go be burning hot. Somebody say hot. Somebody say hot. Because we not taking no prisoners. They're too disrespectful. We not taking prisoners again, man. This thing's serious. So we want to say to the people of Whim this evening, thanks for coming out in your numbers, showing your full support to your next assemblyman, Kelvin Morris, because 1 was enough. 1 was enough. But now 15 will be enough. Yeah, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, those of you, we have some eats, we have drinks, we have everything. Let us enjoy the rest of the night. Those who are leaving, get home safe. Mr. DJ, bring a tune.
You dig?
Election day. We vote in PNM on election day. Our future will be at stake if we only make a mistake. We vote in PNM on election day. Our plan is driven by education. We walking towards a stronger nation. On election day, protect your future. On election day, what is the answer? On track.